welcome.
Hi, thanks for
I'm
having
excited
me.
about this. Now, you're 26 years old.
Yes, I am.
We just had the discussion about the age when, you should ask somebody how old they are. And we both agreed you're at that age where you don't have to hide your age.
Below 30 is fine.
Below 30 is fine. At 26, which is fascinating what you do, because you started your business and then out of nowhere, you started another business, completely different industries.
Polar opposite. Oh, they kind of overlap, but not a whole lot.
Not a whole lot.
Yeah.
And for 26 years old, to do so much, it takes a lot because it's not easy to run a business. I feel like at my age, I'm 44, I've experienced enough that I can handle pressure. And maybe with experience, with the age, I guess, I feel like I can handle more pressure now, or I don't maybe see anything as pressure because I've been through a lot. I experienced really the hardship of business.
Exactly.
But when you are young, when you're 21, 22, 23, or 23, when you're starting something, there's so much you can take to break through the business and survive and then thrive. And
Exactly.
I feel like your business is at the stage where you're thriving now.
Yeah.
Tell us what you do now and how did it all start?
That's a big, big question. So I now have a recruitment agency as well as an Australian Skin Clinics franchise.
Yes.
I started with the franchise when I think it was 22.
Yes.
I got that one. That one was a bit of a different way of starting into the franchise kind of world.
Yes.
It was kind of nearly like a hostile takeover type of situation, where essentially the previous owner, he walked out of the business without anyone kind of knowing that he was going to walk out of the business.
Yes.
And then I was working at Australian Skin Clinics head office at the time. So the only reason I was kind of working there was because I wanted to look at the books and see if it was something that I wanted to buy in the future.
Yes.
I had it in the kind of 12-month plan that I wanted to potentially buy one.
Yes.
He ended up walking out of the business within 6 months of me kind of starting that role.
Yes.
I saw the opportunity and I just kind of went for it for that one. Yeah.
And that was Brisbane.
Yeah. So I lived on the Gold Coast at the time.
And you never ran business before?
I'd had like a tutoring company and
Yes.
like a few other things that kind of organically grew when I was in high school,
Yes.
but nothing that was turning over a significant value with 10 plus staff kind of thing.
Was one thing I say that any person that wants to start any business, your enthusiasm is this high. Your energy level
Most
is
definitely.
this high. Your expectation is this high. I'm a freaking entrepreneur and I'm here to conquer the fucking world.
That was literally how it started.
And then you start your business.
Exactly.
And then reality hits.
Exactly. And then
Big-
COVID hit too.
Which is even worse because
Yeah.
obviously COVID really stops people from running businesses or
Yeah.
stops people from going to businesses. But when you start anything, I always say it's very interesting how people manage their expectations, their energy, their excitement. Like I'm starting my business, I'm going to do so well, I'm going to make so much money, my life is changing. I'm going to create my own hours, and then you start your business and you realize, fuck, I got no hours. There is no fucking life.
Yeah.
My life is the business that I just walked into.
Yeah.
And then you have to really level yourself up to the reality of the business, not where your expectation was,
Oh, exactly.
so you can start. Was your start really hard?
Most definitely. I walked into essentially a clinic that had been trashed, number one. There was no equipment there. The whole place needed a definite refurb. All of the equipment was gone that morning. I essentially walked into the CEO's office at 10 a.m. saying, hey, I know that the guy just walked out of this business. How about I do you a favor and buy it? And I'll literally move to Brisbane by 5 p.m. this afternoon. And then he was like, well, you're like a little angel, aren't you? This is great. This is going to work well. Are you sure you know what you're doing? And I was like, no, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'll figure it out.
Yes.
So then I called a real estate agent and I was like, hey, I need a place by this afternoon. I need to move to Brisbane because I essentially just bought this clinic. I need to move there by 5 p.m. And then I organised painters for that. If this was a Thursday that happened, the Friday I moved, Then the Friday afternoon, I was in the clinic painting. And then by the Monday it was reopened, we had 0 staff. And it was like, and I'd never run a clinic before, ever.
And let's start.
Nor had I ever worked in one either.
I got goosebumps, and I tell you why. Unfortunately, most people that want to do well or want to start a business or want to start anything, they talk about it. They plan it for the perfect time.
There's no perfect time.
It doesn't exist. So this is a really big lesson for anybody that's actually watching this. Yes, you might have an idea that you want to execute, but talking about it and waiting for everything to align will never fucking happen.
Never.
Finding an idea that you have, creating plan of action and actioning it, there's a big difference between people that talk about it and people that actually take action. Because there's no such a thing as somebody being extraordinary expert in any field when they're starting.
No, not at all. Because I didn't know how to run a team. I didn't even know how a laser device worked, let alone running a clinic, or even how to open and close a clinic at all. I'd done the marketing for clinics, but I knew none of the ins and outs of it.
Yes.
But I figured, well, I can learn and I can figure that out and I can hire the right people who know how to do that.
Yeah.
And then I can essentially slot in and go, hey, I'll manage this. I'll work 7 days a week. I'll work till 10 o'clock at night every night and I'll just figure it out.
See, I think people underestimate the burning fire within true entrepreneur to succeed at something.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, you don't have to be expert in a field, where you have to be expert at finding good people that can help you get there.
Exactly.
And I'm assuming now, with your clinic, 4 years later,
Yes.
traveling through the COVID,
Yes.
which wasn't easy to run any business, whatever business you are in,
No.
surviving, thriving. How many staff you got now?
Well, we've got part-timers and full-timers, but
Yes.
altogether I think it's 15.
So
Altogether.
from zero, you
0
walking
to
in there
15.
saying, what the fuck am I going to
Yeah, I
do
know.
today? 4 years later, main clinic is in Brisbane,
Yes.
and then you're living on the Gold Coast.
I'm living on the Gold Coast now.
And the recruitment company that you started not long ago is Brisbane or Gold Coast?
Based on the Gold Coast, but we service Australia-wide.
Right.
Yes.
So over 4 years, looking back now, when you look back now, do you think to yourself, Jesus Christ, you really had a big heart to start the way you started?
Kind of, but I think I always knew that I wanted to just do things.
Yes.
So I thought to myself, like I've always thought, oh, you've got to do more. You've got to,
Yes.
like there's more, you're capable of more.
Yes.
So maybe just take on whatever opportunity that you get. And if there's an opportunity there, just take it.
Yes.
And it was there,
I
so I
think
just took it.
the thing about anybody in their 20s, the beautiful thing about any entrepreneur that is 20s, most cases they have no fucking fear. They're like, fuck it, I'm doing it. And if I have to go through the wall and smash my head, I'm going through the wall, I'm going to smash it. But I know I have a heart to do it so.
Exactly.
Were you always passionate about industry?
About aesthetics?
Correct.
Yeah, so I studied biomed and then a little
Yes.
bit of medicine. So I've always liked the aesthetics and medicine side of things. I wanted to be a doctor and then I had the tutoring company and turns out that was making quite a bit of money while I was
Yes.
at university. So then I graduated biomed and did a couple extra subjects, did business too. And then I was like, no, I don't want to do medicine anymore.
Yes.
I'd rather just run businesses that are in the fields that I like.
How did you break your business through the competition?
Yeah.
Because I feel like 20 years ago, there was barely any business. I think competition was a lot less than what it is today.
Oh, most
Would you agree
definitely.
there?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So
There's a lot of independence now everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
And I feel like everybody's, you literally almost have them in every suburb instead of maybe just a couple of them in the CBD.
Yeah.
So breaking it through. So when you were starting your business, knowing you got 1,000 competitors, they're doing probably the same thing that you're doing.
Yeah.
How do you take piece of the pie? How do you take piece of the market?
We had 2 lasers at the time when I started that I'd bought. And then most people usually utilize those lasers for like hair removal because that's just like it's kind of like a cash cow where people just always are coming in for it.
Yes.
But then the higher ticket items on those laser machines are pigment and vascular.
Yes.
So my mission was to find people who were specialised in pigment and vascular, because in Southeast Queensland, everyone struggles with pigmentation and things like that. So in order
So we're
to
looking
have
for the niche.
the niche and to be more specialised than every other clinic.
Right.
Because every other clinic has those laser machines, but it's whether they actually utilise them to their full potential. Same with injectables. If you can have nurses and you can have people who do like lips, cheeks, Botox, all the rest.
Do you guys do all that as well, or you don't?
Yeah.
Do I need a Botox?
No, you don't. You're looking young.
There you go, ladies. They're working with me.
It's all the prime drinking. There you go.
There you go. I'm drinking a lot of good stuff so
All
I
the
can
good
look
stuff.
younger.
Exactly.
There you go.
Yeah, so it's pretty much specializing in things that not everyone else is doing, but utilizing the people that you already have in the clinic. So you've got them there so we have 3 late nights a week. So we've got like 9 to 8 p.m, 3 late nights a week, and then we're open every other day. So we've got those machines there, but it's actually using them to their full capacity, not just doing what everyone else is doing.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's how we found that we kind of filled our books quicker than others.
Which is really interesting because anybody that wants to start any business, as much as you are excited about starting it, the reality is, doesn't matter what business you're starting, most cases, there's a massive competition there already. So what the hell are you going to do to stand out?
Exactly.
You know, not just marketing. People get mistaken when it comes to their product. Marketing will get people through doors, but you're going to get them to come back again and again and not lose them to your competitors.
Exactly. So you've got to be more specialized. Well, that's in particular for the clinic side of things. We have to be more specialized. We have to have nurses that do treatments that not every other clinic does, so that they can offer them the full broad spectrum of everything that they could ever want or ever need. So then it's like your one-stop shop. When you walk in, you could get anything that you literally could ever need. And that goes the same with the recruitment agency. That's why we came out with it, because, well, I've obviously hired a lot of staff over the time of 4 years, and I know exactly what I'm looking for. So I said to my business partner, Melissa, she's specialized in finance for the past 7 years. I said, how about you go down that realm and I'll go down the nurses, doctors, cosmetic kind of medi aesthetics realm.
So recruitment company now specializes in finance
and medi aesthetics, and then we've also got a team for labor hire now too. So we all work our different divisions. We've all got our own teams, but it's run completely in 3 opposite ways. Yeah. So, but then everyone always is asking for those 3 sectors. So we were like, how about we grow in the 3 biggest and just go from there? And there's no one in the medi aesthetic space, in my opinion, that's doing it properly, because they don't know what they're looking for. Whereas I was like, well, I know what I'm looking for.
Because you are in the business.
Well, I know what a senior cosmetic injector is. I know exactly what they need to be signed off in. And I know how much experience they need in each thing. And I know exactly how to ask the questions to see, well, if they're full of bullshit or not. So,
which is interesting. You had a choice, like every other business person, an entrepreneur. Most business people, they start a business, could be whatever it is, accounting firm. They start one business, maybe have 15 staff like you in it, and they establish it and then keep running the business for 20, 30, 40 years, which is kind of a streamline. I call that having a life almost business, because in my field, I got 300 plus staff now. I'm not running my business smoothly. I'm constantly climbing the mountain, constantly growing. Like even yesterday, we started another business that is being registered today. Idea, we're starting it, we are actioning it, and now we want to grow it nationally. So I have chosen that path where people say you got to have a balance, work-life balance. My balance is I'm fucking mentally passionate, crazy passionate about growing myself as a human, as a business individual, growing businesses, going through shit, fixing them, thriving through them, which is not a normal road of, you know what, I created a business, I got 15 staff, I can manage it by working 3 to 5 days a week. I can go on holidays as much as I like. No, Emil, let's go through a fucking war zone and expand. And I think that's the road you chose.
Exactly.
chose yourself because you had choice. You started one clinic, just run it.
Yeah.
Do well out of it.
Yeah.
And what more do you want? But no, let's talk on more. Let's take on more.
Exactly. Now we want to service
Why did you
the whole
choose
of
that
Australia.
path?
Well, because I was bored. It was like, you can run a business and then you've got staff and you're like, okay, great. It's like a pat on the back to yourself. Okay,
Yes.
good. Like, now what?
So you're driven to do more.
I want more and I want to do more and I want more freedom and I want to see what I'm actually capable of achieving.
Yes, which is interesting. You might get more financial freedom, but you're going to have a less time freedom.
Which is
when
fine.
you're executing.
Because that's okay.
As long as you're enjoying it.
Yeah,
and you don't see it
exactly.
as a chore, or you don't see it as an effort of work.
No, I don't see anything as work because it's like you just have to do it.
Correct. Now, talk of recruitment.
Yes.
Interesting fact. I have one of my uncles. I'm, born Croatian in the middle of Europe. And my uncle, when he was 17 years old, he moved from Croatia to Germany.
Yes.
Worked all his life. Anyway, and he's now 73, 4 years old. A few years ago, he came to visit my mom and dad, and I spent some time with my uncle that I love dearly. And I asked Uncle, how long did you work in your last job? He said 47 years. I said, no, I'm not asking how many years you work in your life. I'm asking you how many years did you work in your last job? He said 47 years. I understand what Ellie's saying.
Yeah.
So he had his first job was his last job. Same company for 47 years.
That's what we call a unicorn.
What do you call a miracle today, right? Interesting lives that we are living now, which I'm always trying to dig deep to see why. It's very rare to find people that work more than 5 years at one job. Like when I'm interviewing people, we got a process, an HR manager in our business that interviews people, but if they come to me, that means it's the last part of the interview, I guess. I always have just one question. My main question is, how long did you stay in your last job? Or more importantly, how many jobs you had in the past 5 years? A lot of new generations, they would be so excited to say to me, Emil, I had 10 jobs. I'll be like, I'm going to give you advice. Next interview you go to, I'm not encouraging people to lie, but you need to fucking lie. Because when you tell me I had 10 jobs in 5 years, you're really telling me how not loyal you are.
Yeah.
Because for me to employ anybody, I'm one of the most hardest person to work with. And I think, there's people that are working with me can tell you that because I push people to do so good, to become unbelievably good or to leave.
Yeah.
And if they leave, then they're not good enough to work at my pace and for me to bring best out of them.
Yeah.
But it's very hard to find people that are taking their jobs as a career. Like, for example, another example, when I go to Europe, there could be a bartender in a cafe. He's 65 years old, and he's been doing that for the last 40 years as a career. Now I got a feeling that maybe people have more choices. I'm done before, I don't know, whatever it is, but it's very hard to find people that have been working within the business for many years. Like one of the tech guys that I had working here, I just found out not long ago that same recruitment company has found him 3 last jobs. So he goes, they find him one job, and they probably charge that employee a fee, whatever the fee is. And then in 6 months, 8 months, he leaves, and they find him another job, and another job, and another job. Four literally jobs in 3 years. Why is that a reality today that people are not as loyal as maybe as they used to be 25 years ago? Not that you were working 25 years ago.
I was about 1 year old.
Correct. You were thinking about working one day.
I was thinking about working one day, maybe. I think that people just, you're completely right, they're just not as loyal as they used to be. I think that people think that they've got so much option and that they can kind of flick and choose around and try out 6 different jobs before they kind of settle into the one that they actually like.
Yes.
And even in that case, when they do settle into the right job, they're always kind of looking, the grass is greener over there, maybe I'll just do that.
Or not think to themselves, how can I water my own grass?
Exactly right. And maybe if I work really hard in this business, I'll get rewarded and then I can go up the ranks and then I'll actually develop a career out of it. People are really wanting those quick wins, and they're wanting to kind of go, okay, where can I get the better pay, the better work from home lifestyle? Where can I work the least?
Yes.
Whereas, so that's why recruitment kind of comes in, because it's so much harder to find really dedicated staff these days, because the great majority of people are wanting just the lifestyle. They're not actually wanting to work.
Yes.
They were like, most of them are like, oh, well, I've kind of tried that job for a little bit. Maybe I'll try something else.
Well, interesting. I got one of my guys that is working for me right now. I hope he's watching this, because I'm about to have a talk with him.
Yeah.
He's been with me for about 7-8 months. And 7-8 months, he asked me for 3 pay rises. And I said, yes, yes, yes. He's asking for more. And I won't say sack him, but I'm about to tell him there's a door there for a reason. You can keep asking for more, but you got to give more too.
Exactly
so
right.
If you say to employer, hey, you know what, I think I need a 30 grand pay rise or 50 grand, whatever the hell it is. First thing that any person that is working for somebody, you guys need to ask yourself, what more can I do for you to make your life easier instead of pay me more? My answer always is, for what? What are you doing for me to pay me more? Have you made a business better that you should be rewarded? Or me paying you more, are you just going to put pressure on the business for business to suffer fucking more because you're paying me more?
Whereas they can hire someone who's actually going to put in more.
Correct. I think, hoping is you don't give yourself a chance to understand the role that you are in, full stop, if you just keep hopping from job to job.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we even find that in the clinic space. Some people are really like, okay, this is my career, this is what I want to do, and then they'll really thrive and grow. Where you've always got those people that's the 10% that come and go. They're the ones who ask the most, typically. They're like, I want the biggest pay, I want to work the least, these are the hours that I want. And you're like, no, it doesn't work that way.
That's not the reality.
Literally haven't even proved yourself.
The only point of, I think P. Diddy or Puff Daddy, there was an interview, or I'm not sure if it was interview. There's a clip on YouTube. If you can find it and put it in this video, and he said, the reason why I employ you people so I can do less.
I need my brain to be used like that. I got too much genius shit that the world needs to see and feel. Y'all got that work to do. That's why I pay everybody so I could do less work. That's the hustle. Did y'all know that's the hustle?
Exactly right, not do more.
Not to do more. Then what the hell is employing people if I'm just going to become a bigger slave by employing you in my own business, And which is interesting. Looking back now, and I come to you and I say, you know what? I'm going to start my own clinic today. What would you tell me? What's ahead of me? Besides the fucking hell I'm about to walk in.
You're going to work a lot more hours than you ever thought imaginable.
Yes.
You're probably going to think you're going to walk in and you're going to just be like, oh, I've got a manager, it's done. No, it doesn't work that way. You're going to work 7 days a week for the first year or so just to figure it out and make sure that your staff are actually doing all the processes the way that you want, because it's clinical. You need it to be dot your I's, cross your T's kind of thing. I think that a clinic is not a hands-off business. Yes. It's not one of those things where you walk in and you go, I'll invest a bunch of money and off I go out the door. It's not that. There's always new legislation. There's always new treatments coming out every 3 months.
And if you don't stay ahead with time, you'll be behind.
You have to be passionate about essentially results-driven treatments and actually providing those for your clients. Because if you fall behind and don't actually offer them to your clients and don't have everyone trained in those treatments as well, you'll be off the board so quickly. So I think it's more like you're going to work a lot of hours before you can get out of the business.
Yes. So there's no such a thing as I'm going to start my clinic today so I can work less.
No.
So you start
definitely not
to work more.
Yes, definitely. It's one of those businesses you have to be passionate about, and you have to kind of work in it to know what you're doing and know what everyone else is doing, and then you can kind of start edging your way out.
How do you deal with being disappointed in people?
Being disappointed in people?
Correct. Because in business, I think this is the issue that I had before.
Yeah.
I would employ somebody, and I would, over 2, 3, 4, 5 years, I would spend so much time, energy, money, making them absolutely the best I can be.
Yeah.
And you get emotionally attached to that person
Yeah.
because, you invested so much in them, and then they said, I'm leaving tomorrow. Are you at the stage where you get disappointed and upset and down, or do you just rip it like a Band-Aid and see you later?
To be honest, I rip it like a Band-Aid. I'm very logistical in my brain because the first team members that we started with are not going to be the last ones that you usually end with because
Yes.
you didn't know how to run the business back then.
Yes.
And you didn't know what you were looking for back then. Whereas now I
Yes.
know exactly what I'm looking for. And either that team member kind of provides that and then you're going to nurture it and then you're obviously going to facilitate it.
Yes.
Then you'd probably be very upset if they did leave and you actually have that relationship where they're thriving,
Yes.
you're thriving. But typically if someone leaves, there's an imbalance. So you've just
Yes.
got to figure out what that is. And if it's
Yes.
not right and it's not right for them or it's not right for you, you just got to bye.
And I always say that maybe I'm just crazy the way I'm thinking, but there's certain amount of space I have in my brain.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to fill it with any negativity that I know that I cannot change.
Exactly.
Like if you're working together, two of us, and you decide to move on and there's nothing I can do,
Yeah.
if I think about it and dwell on it, it's not going to help the situation.
No.
There's the road you chose. Business is here. I need to focus what is the best outcome I need to have for
Yeah.
my business so I can keep thriving.
Yeah.
And that's that. Because looking back doesn't help you move forward.
Exactly. And I think you can see the type of team members that are there to kind of grow with the business.
Yes.
Like one of my team members, she was my first team member in 2019. She'd been with the business since 2014. She had left. Then I
Yes.
got her back in 2019. She's still with me.
Yes.
So I know that she's one of those people that if I put into her, she'll give it straight back to me.
Yes.
Same with my clinic manager. She's been there for a few years now. So if I put into her, she's giving it back to me.
Yes.
And then I've got other staff members that have been there for a few years, where it's kind of one of those things where you can very easily see who's there to just get the quick wins, who's there for the pay packet, who's there for
Yes.
this, that, everything else, but who's there to actually grow with the business. That's who you try and focus all your energy in
I
on.
love that.
And then those people grow and then the business grows.
Yes, I love
Whereas anyone who's not really wanting to grow with the business, I'm
Yes.
very quick to go, okay, I think this is not for
Yes.
you. See you.
I think I always say that I'm a passionate person and I like to be emotional. A lot of people say in the business, don't be emotional because you can get hurt. Well, the way I see it, I'm emotional in a way that I care enough for business to do well,
Yeah.
but I'm also not emotional when it comes to getting rid of anything that's affecting my business too.
Exactly.
So it's a balance of,
Yeah.
I'm so emotional and passionate about my business, but at the same time, I care that much.
Yeah.
If you're terrible for my business, get the fuck out.
Yeah. A
And
business
move on.
isn't family that you have to keep nourishing no matter what kind of
Yes.
thing. If the
Well,
person's not good,
reality
the
is
person's not
any bad
good.
decision in business is going to affect business yourself and every person that you employ.
Exactly.
Because running a business, you are responsible, for every employee at One Life Club. It's my job to make sure I keep delivering so those people are employed because they have kids and families
Exactly.
and they need to look after
Yeah.
as well. Road you have chosen is not easy.
No.
Because running your business is not easy. Starting a second business is not easy. So you have chosen what some people call a hard fucking road, but I got a feeling by the way you talk, you see it as I have chosen a really fun road.
Yeah, I found it it's an interesting road. It's not boring.
Yes.
Where I find a lot of people, they go the easy road, but they're
Yes.
going to look back and be like, what did I do with my life?
Yes.
Whereas at least if I give everything a shot and I take a bunch of risk,
Yes.
if it fails, it fails. That's fine.
Yes.
But as long as I give it 110% and try my absolute best at it, I've got the possibility of actually saying, I saw
Yes.
what could come of that.
Advice you would give to anybody wanting to start any business tomorrow?
Just be willing to wear every single hat. and put in all the work. If you're going to be cleaning on the floor at 10 o'clock at night, you're going to be doing that. If you're going to be doing the accounts at 1 a.m., you're going to be doing that. If you need to open the clinic or open the agency or make calls at 6 a.m., you've got to do that.
Yes.
You just have to do the shit work to be able to be doing the good work.
100%. And I think that's the reality that is facing every young entrepreneur. Do you feel that a lot of people your age, young individuals in business, the expectations is too high? They think, they're going to make massive results overnight?
Oh, massively. And I think they also see the highlight reel on Instagram.
Yes.
I think they see, like, even this year, it was really funny. Like, I went to Europe, and then I like racing. So I went to the Monaco F1.
Yes.
And I was there, and it looked so
Did you watch
glamorous.
Formula 1 on Sunday?
I did.
Which is my favorite Formula 1 to watch now in Vegas because it's 4 p.m. our time.
I know, and it's the best timing ever
it was,
of all the
and
races.
Sunday, it couldn't be any better. Normally, every time there's F1, I was like 2 o'clock in the morning. It's like, who's going to watch it? It's just so hard.
And it's a Sunday too, so you're like, on Monday, I know I'm going to be very sleepy.
Exactly, and this was perfect.
Yeah, it was really good, but Charles should have won, but that's okay.
It was amazing, but it's just interesting because I think social media has made everything look attractive.
It has.
So much temptation. Like, for example, I have a lot of cars, and a lot of people expect me to teach them how they can be successful overnight. And one thing I always say at One Life Club, there's a good news and bad news. The good news is we're going to bring so many amazing entrepreneurs in front of you, in front of the audience, that you guys can learn so much to be good at whatever field those people are in.
Yeah.
But the bad news is this is not a crypto. They put $1,000 in and it's worth $2 million tomorrow that you maybe saw 2 guys out of 2 million of them do.
Exactly.
The reality is it will take a lot of time, effort, tease to make anything reality.
That was like even when I was overseas, like people saw the highlight reel of doing all the fun things, but they also didn't see me up at Australian hours of the night answering queries, making sure everyone was okay back here.
So you just stuck up there for 2 hours during the race, smiling, and after that you're like a duck pedaling.
Oh, literally. I was like, oh, okay, so I'll get up at 6 a.m. before the race. Well, everyone in Europe gets up at like midday.
Yes,
so then,
and they go to bed 3 a.m.
3 a.m. or especially on the F1, they go to bed at 5 a.m.
Yes.
But I'd get up at 6 a.m., I'd do all my work, then I'd meet up with all my friends and things like that over there. They'd have no idea what I've even done in the morning. And they're like, oh, it looks so easy. You're just doing like life and you can travel and you can do this and you can do that. And I was like, it's not,
That's what people see.
You
but
just see
the reality is, and I always say to this day, having multiple businesses, I'm still the first person in my offices and I'm still the last person.
Exactly.
Yes, I might have everything that I can dream of, but fuck me, Dad, I give it all. I don't just do a little bit. And I think that's something that a lot of people need to take out of any entrepreneur is that the road won't be easy. It'll be definitely worth it, but it will take time to make any business successful. Even yourself, 4 years have gone like a minute.
Yeah, most definitely.
And you got another 50 to go.
Exactly right. People don't see that like you're up till 10 o'clock at night every night, just like doing random things just to make sure you can get ahead in both businesses.
But if you don't do it, who else will?
No one.
Because specifically on start of any journey, do you feel that there's a big talk in Australia about tall poppy syndrome? How there's a saying people want to see you do well, but not better than them.
Yeah, but yeah.
Do you think there's more people that are happy or not happy for you doing well?
I think they're just not happy in themselves over anything. Because if they were happy in themselves, they'd be happy for you. Because anyone that I know that's doing well is like happy for everyone around them.
I want everybody to do extremely well.
Yeah, exactly. And you're like, well, I want to see you do well and I want to see everyone else thrive because why not? It'd be great. Have everyone winning.
What's next for you?
What's next for me?
And how are you going to tackle it?
we're growing the recruitment agency quite extensively this coming year. So we've probably employ, I think it's 5 people we want in the next 6 months. That's part of the plan. So we've got the demand there, so we just need to facilitate it now.
Do you think it's hard for you guys to find good people to send to businesses?
As in recruiters?
Correct.
No, we already knew who we wanted to hire before we started the business.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because, your business is fascinating because
Yeah.
quite often you guys would headhunt people to
Yeah.
send them elsewhere, correct?
Yeah.
So you'd be like, fucking, I need you to leave this role because it's a better job. So
Yeah.
this is interesting fact because so much temptation is out there that anybody that's employed, you really got to be calculated what's good for me over the next 20 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Not be tempted by a minute. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I look forward to watching you grow. Do you think
Thank
it's ever
you.
going to stop or you're just going to keep climbing Mount Everest?
Keep climbing, because I think we'll go for Australia and then I think we'll go overseas after that.
So no stopping.
No. Definitely not. Just getting started.
I'll look forward to watching you more.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your
Go.
time.